Hi, everybody. Dr. Daniel. And today I'll be talking about what has the COVID-19 pandemic done to the frequency of migraine. The pandemic has naturally increased the amount of stress in the population, causing fear and anxiety. In addition, there have been economic losses, job failures, increased decisions regarding children of school age for working parents, and innumerable other situations that have aggravated life in general, or the basic status quo of all persons in the world. The main trigger or feature driving migraine is stress, and the amount of stress had gone up. One study utilizing the cell phone app called Migraine Buddy compared instances of migraine headaches between 2018, 2019, and 2020. This was a study in Australia which showed an increase in migraine occurrence, but a decrease in migraine triggers. The triggers they reported were stress, lack of sleep, neck pain, and anxiety. In this study, headache frequency in 2018 was about 4.9 headache days per month, 5.2 in 2019, and 5.4 headache days per month in 2020. Does COVID-19 cause headache by itself? Yes, COVID-19 can cause meningitis, encephalitis, and cerebral infarction. All of these conditions can cause headache. Cerebral infarction has an incidence of about 10% headaches associated with this. This is like stroke I am talking about. But particularly meningitis and encephalitis are associated with headache. Meningitis means inflammation of the meninges of the brain, which are covering the brain lobes, and encephalitis means inflammation of the brain tissue itself. Itis is a word that means inflammation. The type of headache with COVID-19 would be a nonspecific, likely generalized, moderately severe headache with nausea and confusion. These likely would not be migraine headaches, which are generally one-sided, throbbing, and associated with sensitivity to light and sound. It'd probably be difficult as a physician seeing a migraine patient with COVID-19, separating migraine-causing headache from COVID-19 induced headache. That'd be a hard job to do. Unless the patient has something like migraine with aura, where they would see their visual aura as part of the headache, or have paresthesias or numbness or tingling in one arm or one arm or face, or trouble talking. That would pretty well mark the headache as being a migraine. But otherwise, it'd be difficult to tell. The World Health Organization released a report on COVID-19 cases in which they noted the symptoms that people experience. According to that report, close to 14% of patients with COVID-19 experience headaches. So that's a general problem with the pandemic. The other situation is headache is one of the most common symptoms that man has and is the number one side effect from any medication that someone takes. What's been the effect of COVID-19 on headache practices? Dr. Merrill Diamond from the Diamond Headache Center in Chicago stated, "We're working from home, and oftentimes that makes it harder to have an on switch and an off switch," she said. The change in work can be triggering because migraineurs have very sensitized nervous systems that don't like change. Nor are we getting up and moving, stretching, hydrating, or sleeping as we should, which can all be significant triggers, Dr. Diamond said. This lack of activity makes migraine worse. Change of schedule makes migraine worse. Sleep is impacted, which always makes migraine worse. And if you get dehydrated, that certainly doesn't help, Dr. Diamond said. So there's one headache clinic reporting that the migraine problems are worse with the COVID pandemic. What are the common features of COVID-19 anyway? According to information from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, common distinguishable symptoms for COVID-19 can appear 2 to 14 days after exposure to the SARS-CoV-2 virus and include fever, a dry cough, and shortness of breath. Many others also experience fatigue along with symptoms similar to those of other respiratory conditions, such as a sore throat, sputum production, runny nose, stuffy nose, aches and chills, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and headache. The bottom line here is that any great illness impacting world life situations as strongly as COVID-19 is going to have a deleterious effect on those persons with previous health problems, and this is especially strong and true for those with migraine. So this is the end of this talk on this subject. I hope it is helpful to you. Please click on subscribe down there. God bless all you folks who've had COVID, and dear Lord, prevent this virus from coming anymore and get rid of it. And I'll see you all on the next talk.